Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Progressive Overload Podcast. Have you ever thought about strengthening multiple areas of your life at the same time? Then you've come to the right place. Our goal is to help you identify ways that you might need a progressive overload to break through those plateaus and keep you growing.
Hey, what's up, Progressive Overload fam? Welcome back. We are glad to be here. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, boy.
Dustin.
I'm back.
It's good to meet you,
right.
sir.
Yeah, I know.
You're new here, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You know, I've been around, been traveling the world.
I see.
Yeah.
You know,
On great adventures.
on
I'm
great
sure.
adventures, man.
Oh, yes.
You should have seen some of the adventures of the last several weeks. But no, it is good to be back, my friends, and enjoying the holidays. As
Right.
I guess technically this episode will drop a couple days post Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and so hope everyone had a happy holidays, and we are excited to
Yeah.
be here and be doing this. So,
Y'all have big Christmas plans?
you know, I don't know. Stay warm.
Yeah.
That's kind of chief right now. For those
Yeah.
of you who are in our area, we are currently experiencing, I wouldn't say snowmageddon. There's not
Yeah.
really snow.
It's just freaking cold.
It's
Yeah.
Texas snow too. It's
Can't handle it.
Yeah, it's Texas snow. It's not real snow. It's like
just
that.
like this ice that falls from the sky.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Today
Hits
is more
the
like
ground.
powder.
Yeah, it is a
It
little
really
powdery
is.
today.
It really is. Yeah. And so, I think what's it supposed to get down to like 9-10 degrees tonight,
Yeah. And that's too much for us.
and that's
Too little.
that's the temperature. That's not the feels like.
Yeah,
right?
wind chills like negative something. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Gonna be tough. So stay warm, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I know where I'll be. Wrapped up in a blanket next to a space heater.
By the time this episode drops, it will probably be in the 60s.
Yeah, right. Here we are
Exactly.
complaining.
True.
Welcome-
That is so true.
Welcome to
Oh,
Texas,
man.
everybody.
That's why everybody's getting sick too. This just varying temperatures all the time.
Oh, that's been the worst,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah.
Oh,
That and
breathing.
being next to Typhoid Joe over here.
I
I've
know.
never been sicker
It's the
in my life.
trifecta. Yeah.
Just hanging around
That's
him
what you get
too
for
much.
hanging around me, who hangs around a daughter, who hangs around dozens of other kids at daycare.
Okay, you can't blame this.
Oh,
on your
it's little
daughter in the
Jimmy's fault.
daycare.
Little Jimmy. I hate that kid.
His mom sent him to daycare when he still had a fever, and now 10 other families are spreading it like wildfire.
Yeah.
Well, it's petri dish.
So
mentality.
true, man.
Yeah,
So true.
Yeah.
Kids are disgusting. I'm just joking.
Kids are gross,
Well,
awful.
and we love them.
Merry Christmas to everybody, anyway, and to your children and your families.
That's right.
But
To
yeah,
your
this is gonna
children.
you're gonna be hearing this post Christmas. So
Yeah.
we're getting into new things.
We're almost there.
Almost to a whole year of doing this. That's fantastic. And
Man, that's exciting.
we're looking
It's
forward
crazy.
to what's coming in year 2 for the Progressive Overload podcast.
No.
And one of the things we have to do in order to make that successful is to have a plan, right?
That's right.
And that's kind of
That's
where
right.
we're headed today. And so what do you guys think about when I say the word plan?
Preparation.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
I think of plan.
Well said.
Yeah. Insightful. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's don't you hate it whenever you look up a word in the dictionary and it defines itself with the word?
Yeah.
right.
That's where
Yeah.
my brain went.
Yeah. Webster's terrible
I
about
know.
that.
But when it comes to, sorry, Tyson, when it comes to approaching the new year, planning is crucial. I mean, especially if you want to succeed in your goals for 2023.
Well, that's what I was gonna. For me, when I think of the word plan, I think backwards. I start with goals and how do we and then the planning is just how we reach those goals.
Right. I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Good point.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's basically what we're going to talk about today.
yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Um,
So let's do it. So I wanted a couple reasons that we're going to talk about is of why New Year's resolutions fail. One, we've talked about that. One of our first episode was New Year's resolutions, and go listen to that. It was a really good episode. But and I'm veering off, but I went back and listened to it, our first episode, and now we're at episode 49 or 50 or something like that.
Wow.
And it's so fun to listen where we were a year ago and how much we've grown and how much better we've gotten at this craft of speaking into these microphones. And
Comfort level.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember being so nervous, and I'm probably getting ahead because we are going to do a whole episode on that. in a few weeks. But
Yeah.
anyways, sorry.
I think you were visibly shaking the first time that we.
Dude, I know.
What I mostly remember about the first little episodes that I was involved with with Joe is just profusely sweating the entire time.
True.
Well, that's because it was in July, and Adam likes to keep the heater on in this room.
That's not true. It was comfortable.
Don't blame Adam for
Yeah.
your sweat.
Yeah.
He's blamed children. Now he's blaming me.
Hey, I think it's only fair. You know, as much as he makes us sweat, Adam.
This is true.
That's true. Yeah, it's payback.
Well, I will say that's part of having good goal setting is accountability.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second. Yeah, thank you for bringing us back in there. Number one reason, a reason that people fail their New Year's resolutions is just poorly defined goals.
Mm-hmm.
So have y'all ever heard of the SMART goal system? It's an acronym, SMART.
I have.
Yeah.
No.
You haven't? Okay, so it's taught in a lot of training certifications and financial advisors and health coaches and life coaches and just helping people come up with goals. And the acronym is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And so let's go through those just real fast so we can teach people how to plan a SMART goal.
So why do we like acronyms so much?
It just works in our brain.
That's a human thing. That's just.
It is true.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Good observation.
I wondered who made the first acronym.
Well, I just know in the medical field with therapy,
everything's an
everything's an acronym,
Yeah.
and it's like, what does that even mean? And it gets to the point where like everybody just assumes
Yeah.
you know what the acronym is.
Right.
And there's I'll be the first to admit there's acronyms that I know what the acronym is, but I couldn't tell you what the acronym
What the
stands for
words
at
stand
all.
for,
True.
right.
There's like, okay, I know what illness I'm treating and everything else, but what is that? I don't know what that means. And it's always
Right.
some Latin thing.
Right.
Sorry, little soapbox tangent.
It's an episode for that today. on
That's
that.
good.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that it becomes memorable for us as an
Yeah.
acronym, where
Yeah,
as
I suppose so.
opposed to I can say that word or whatever that phrase might
Right.
be, and it just leaves my brain.
Sometimes they're
Right.
just too dang long, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, we got to shorten this somehow.
It's like nice sentence. Where's the acronym?
Yeah.
And so sometimes it does turn into that. But yeah, SMART goals. Specific is the first thing.
Specific,
So let's get specific.
So whenever we're approaching New Year's, you want to make a goal specific. So instead of saying, "Okay, I want to lose 100 pounds this year," let's break that down a little bit into a more specific thing. Say the first one would do is, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds in the first 3 months, or break it down. Okay, I want to lose 2 pounds this month, or I want to lose, break it down into smaller
Yeah.
goals. It's not so large and it just looks like a mountain sitting in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the first ones. Does specific mean something different to you?
Well, I think the S for specific bleeds into the M for measurable.
Right.
Because the more specific you make it, the more measurable it becomes.
Right.
Sure.
They all bleed into each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think about the church, and I think about we're going to reach 100 people this year. Well,
Right.
that's not very specific.
Mm-hmm.
But if I tell people I want you to make 3 phone calls in the next 2 weeks,
Right.
or whatever, 3
Yeah.
contacts in the next 6 weeks, that's specific
that.
and it's measurable, and so it kind of comes together.
Right.
Both of those things come together.
Yeah, and measurable in this context would be like we just said, weight on the scale,
Right.
weight in your circumference, and we'll talk about measuring a
Mhm.
little bit here in a second. But
Weights
Uh,
lifted.
yeah,
How much
pounds lifted,
exactly,
stuff like that. Right.
Especially if you're trying to increase strength.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Attainable, and so the next one is attainable and realistic. To me, they're pretty much the same word. You just want to make sure that it's something that is realistic and doable, and not. I mean, so many people come in here and they come in the wellness center and say, "Okay, I'm here. I'm ready to do it. I'm going to work out 7 days a week for the next year, and I'm going to lose 200 pounds." And like,
Mhm.
that sounds ridiculous, but it's way more common than you think.
Yeah.
So make sure that the goal is attainable and realistic, and the last one is timely, in a doable amount of time and stuff
Well,
like that.
timely to me means a couple different things because, for instance, timely could mean I want to lose a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time, right? But also timely could also mean is I'm actually making sure that I'm making time for the actual workouts themselves.
Right.
So I don't know. To me, I like to program things.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to actually reach your goals. And I think that's a way, when we're talking about poorly defined goals, well, find your goal out and then put a program to it.
Right.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because I think time is one of those things that we do not navigate all that well.
Very well, you're
Yeah.
right.
And I think as you're making a goal timely and it relates to your time in, the 24 hours that you have in a day,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How you break that up matters.
Sure.
And so figure out if you can get things done early in the morning. If you're a morning person, great.
Right.
If you're not a morning person, know that about yourself
Yeah.
and just admit it and go on.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's trying to trick yourself into believing that you're going to get up at 4:30 a.m. to go work out just because it's the time that you've set for it.
Right.
And you're not, you've never done that in your life, and 4:30 a.m. to you sounds like a ridiculous time in the morning, then don't set that goal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
do people come in and say those kind of things to you, or I know you're not going to be there to train them at 4:30 typically.
Rarely. They're going to be paying a premium for that.
Yeah. For a nominal fee, Joe will be there at 4:30 a.m. to
Man,
train
I will
you.
do anything for any amount of money. Never
Easy.
mind. I was going to ask you guys, have y'all thought about your goals for 23 yet?
Yes.
What you got?
So, short term, just lose 10 pounds.
Yeah. Cool.
And I actually had a conversation with somebody not too long ago about it's great to have those big goals of I want to lose 50 pounds, I want to
Right.
lose 30 pounds in the first 3 months, but to take it in increments
Yeah.
to where you're not overwhelming yourself with such a large goal. I think that's part of that keeping it obtainable.
Right.
And so for me, I'm going to approach the next year. Ideally, big goal. I want to get down below 220 weight wise.
Sweet.
However, I'm going to not look at that. I'm going to look at doing it in 10-pound increments.
Yeah.
When
I
I
like
get
that.
that first 10 dropped, then I'll say, okay, reevaluate. Next 10, let's go.
Right.
And so I'm going to ideally do that. Plans for lifting as far as PRs, because we enjoy that, we being me.
I think we all enjoy PRs.
What's that?
Yeah, some of us more than others. I've kind of measured out what I want to hit on bench press, squat, and deadlift, and how much I want to add to my current PRs to each of those,
Yeah.
which will make me hit the 800-pound total mark.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Which essentially that is adding, I believe, 55 to my squat, adding 20 to my bench press,
Yeah.
and adding 10 to 15, I think, to my deadlift.
Yeah.
And that'll get me there, and I think it's super doable. I don't know where I'm sitting right now.
Being that you're a newbie lifter still, you're still within your first couple of years of lifting,
Yeah.
I think you can put on quite a bit more weight to your lifts. I will warn you though, and this is just realistic stuff, and I'm not trying to pick apart anything, but when you're in a caloric deficit and you're trying to drop the weight,
yeah,
it's super hard for you to actually put on the
Sure.
the muscle on top to be able
Sure.
to increase your lifts.
Yeah.
we're gonna shoot for the weight loss first,
Right. Yeah.
and all that other stuff will be
We'll go
secondary.
I think go through a cut, especially while I do the competition that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And then that's why it's important to go through series of bulks and cuts. And
Yep,
we've talked about that a lot before.
I'm really good at one of those.
One of those.
It's
Cutting.
fun. It's fun, and actually, like Joe knows, I've been in a little bit different of a program for the last probably 6 to 7 weeks at this point.
Yeah.
Just trying to build some strength,
Mhm.
and
And you've been
because
doing it
I
too, man.
kind of plateaued on my PRs, so I just changed things up a bit,
Yeah.
which has been fun.
Yeah. You were getting in your head a lot. And
I was.
It was discouraging you. So I just took you out of the powerlifting mindset
Yep.
and said let's do some bodybuilding. Let's
yeah.
learn
and it's been
yeah.
good. I've enjoyed it. I think here before the first of the year, I'm going to try and hit those PRs and see how close I can how far I can push it after having gone through 6 or 7
Yeah.
weeks of really, I guess, strength building
Right.
is what I've been doing.
That's fine,
more or less.
Dustin.
And then I'll take a extended break from it.
Right.
Go- you need
while
to-
cutting. And
I'm going to suggest that you try what I did. Go to the body weight program. It was fantastic.
It was
It was like
fantastic.
3 weeks,
Yeah.
and it just messes with your body just enough, and you're like, oh, what
Yeah.
is wrong with me?
yeah,
and then,
yeah.
Then you're like, this feels good, and they're like, what is wrong with me again? And
Yeah.
then-
Right.
Yeah,
So you're going back and
That's
forth
it.
into
That's
this cycle of
That's
I
good.
feel
But no,
great.
for me, it's all about reaching that what's next and achieving the things that I haven't been able to do. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where I'm pushing myself and finding the motivation. Shout out to Tyson actually being a big encouragement with
Aw.
that. Yeah. Aw.
And my head just grew. My headphones aren't fitting right.
I know,
Yeah.
right. You might need to extend those. No, but like, and I don't even think I've had this conversation with you yet. But like, I went and hung out and took one of your
Mhm.
classes here a couple weeks ago. And one of the first things we did, we just warmed up, you
Yep.
know, did some cardio, did a little
Just warm up, get the body moving
Yeah.
before we
get
crack
the body
some
moving.
pads.
And part of that actually was doing push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I really don't think I've told you this. I'd never done a full push-up
No way, really.
off my knees, yeah,
I didn't know that. no.
before that.
Beautiful.
And
Awesome.
and I was able to do. Now didn't go crazy, but I was able to do a few
That's awesome,
push-ups,
dude. That's huge.
legit.
Yeah.
And then after I knew, okay, I can't do any more like this, I dropped to my knees and finished out the
Sure.
way I needed to. But
Right.
but I was
Cool.
able to do it, and that was a first period for me.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
So
Sweet.
Yeah, very good. Very
exciting.
good.
Tyson, you have any goals?
Goals. Well, a lot of my goals right now are definitely aligned with
wins.
my fighters
Of course.
and trying to get that stuff. But I'm looking to compete again this year a few times.
Sweet.
So starting out, and I'm really not the guy that's big on New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
I don't like needing a certain
Sure.
date to
I
start
know.
something.
I
I don't
know.
like needing, you know what I mean? That being said, I'm falling in with a crowd today. This
Oh, are
time.
you?
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
jump right on in. Why not? Whatever. It's
Right.
perfect timing.
Join us, brother.
Yeah. So while I'm getting ready, I've got 4 fighters on a card coming up. So all my focus is on their program.
Right.
In the meantime, I'm using their fight camps to do like a pre-fight camp for me.
Okay.
So already, I know you guys have already kind of heard me complaining today. I'm
Right.
sore and I've been getting beat up by some of these monsters I'm teaching and training.
Right.
But I've been hitting my lifts a little bit more. I'm working on my cardio steadily, and I think I really want to take another fight again early this year. This
Oh,
coming year.
sick. I can't wait, dude.
So yeah, those are kind of where my goals are. That also being said, I don't know if I'm going to fight at 145 again. That's quite the cut.
Yeah.
And I think I want to maybe put on some more muscle and maybe fight at 155.
Ooh, sick.
So
Okay.
these are just
all right.
these are not set in stone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those 55s are big boys.
Yeah.
So I might just stick with my frame.
I've
and
never looked at somebody who's 155 and said, "You're a big boy."
go look at them.
I know.
Go look at
well,
them.
they're coming out of being like 200, and
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's probably true. Right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
they're cut down hard.
Khabib, one of the UFC champions. He just retired, but he walks around at 195, 200 pounds easy.
Dang, dude.
And
That's
cuts to
crazy.
155.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, you hear these numbers, 155. You're like, nah, that guy's small.
Well, we finally reached a level of friendship that I'll go to your fights.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had quite a few that's been pretty local that Joe has not supported me in. Just to pick on.
There's been a lot of local stuff. Period. That
There's
Joe
been
just
a
has.
lot of
Oh,
local
hush.
stuff.
It's been 2 weeks. Adam, what's your goals, bro?
You know what?
He just
We may get
skips
to
over
this
that.
in a minute, but me, as far as my fitness goals, that's kind of one of those things that I don't push that out there very often. I don't really think about it because I'm just
Right.
like, I kind of get into this mindset of, I get up, I go to the gym,
Right.
I eat,
Yeah.
and so I'm in that frame, and so I don't know. I need to really evaluate goals
Yeah.
for myself.
Yeah.
It would probably look something like, drop some weight,
Right.
and maybe increase the load. All of the things that you guys have talked about.
Yeah.
It's going to be similar.
Yeah.
I just
Nothing
haven't.
specific
I
yet.
have not made them specific, and so I need to do that so that I can reach them. But then I want to make smarter goals with an E and an R, so that I can be
Yeah.
excited at the end of the T. you know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can have an R for reward.
Ooh, there we go.
But we
Yeah.
I like
so I
that.
make smarter goals. But
Ooh, I like that.
that's probably not good because then you're into the reward based.
Oh, yeah, what's your reward? Is it pizza or is it
Probably
a new gun or something? Yeah.
Oh no,
It's a cigar and some whiskey with Tyson.
see you keep pushing for
One
that.
of these
don't you?
days.
We
Yeah.
could have some good conversation, I think.
Probably so. It might be way.
We should do it on the podcast.
Doubt that's gonna.
I
happen.
don't know. I don't see that happening.
I don't think either one of those two things are going to happen, but certainly not
Yeah.
live.
We'll get him one of those candy ones, the candy cigarettes, and from the
Oh,
gas
yeah.
station. Yeah. I think-
Dustin,
Oh, go ahead.
they're trying to get me to drink and
I'm
smoke.
sensing
I'm a
the peer
heathen.
pressure here.
Yeah.
I'm a heathen. Don't hang out with me.
That's
too
coming
long.
from Tyson. I'm a bystander here.
Well, you know,
Oh, sure.
So
You're
here's-
so innocent. I was expecting your goals to be something along the lines of swim longer, swim faster.
I could do that.
Just keep
I
swimming.
actually, I was thinking about this morning as I was swimming. I think one of the goals that I really do want to do is swim 2 miles
Oh, okay.
nonstop.
That'd be
Sick.
And
Bro.
so that would be, I don't know, roughly about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I did
you
a
know.
half mile.
Did you?
I did.
How did it go?
It took me like 26 minutes, I'll be
Yes.
honest. I swim like a boulder straight down.
I got to
But,
commend you
you
real quick,
know.
though, because it was like 19 degrees this morning, and I get here, and
swimming in the
and
pool.
Adam's in the pool, and I thought, how did you motivate yourself to do that?
I had an internal conversation with myself early in
gosh.
this morning when I got up. I was like, do I really want to get those trunks
Holy
on?
cow,
I was
man.
like, man, it's cold.
Yeah.
But it was good. You
How
know,
was the water?
The waters were great, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always the same temperature.
Well,
And so,
good. It's
unless-
just it's up here that
Yeah.
changes, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
and
Joe,
so I appreciate that.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. What's your goals, Joe?
For myself, definitely want to go on a hard cut. I'm ready to. I've kind of these last few months I've been, I guess, on a bulk-ish. I mean, I'm not eating a surplus, not eating like crazy. Although these last 2 weeks I've been eating like a 12-year-old.
True.
Yeah, but and that's just become our term on our podcast for eating like crap. But I want to go on a cut, and then by the end of the year, I want to squat 4 plates, deadlift 4 1/4 plates, and then bench 3 plates. And I'm really close to all of those, so I'll be able to get those. But that's my main goal.
So cut early in the year, and
Uh-huh.
then
I'm
kinda-
gonna So I've been in a heavy powerlifting type program the last few weeks, and then that's gonna time up perfectly with our competition soon, where I'm gonna go on a heavy cut and then increase the volume, kind of go on a bodybuilding type routine, and that's the idea.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the similar boat. I'm wanting to cut a little bit, get my body fat down a little bit.
Right.
I've kind of chunky monkeyed it up a little bit. I think I'm like 19% body fat, which I know.
Yeah, come on.
But for a
You
fighter,
hear that?
I know
for a
what
fighter,
you're saying.
Like it's just not where it needs to be.
Yeah,
you know, I'm like
true.
175, and that's pretty far from where I need to be maintaining to compete.
To compete. Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
that being said, with your cut, I want to formally challenge you and let me
Oh.
program your cut for you.
I'll let you, dude. Heck yeah.
I would
Give
love
me a
to.
plan.
I'll give you a full program. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think in about 8 to 9 weeks,
Okay.
you'll be surprised how far you've come.
Dude, I'll do it.
All right.
As long as it doesn't include running.
No.
I'll
but
do the elliptical. I'll row.
Put
I'll-
swimming in it.
I want swimming is a good one. I want my assault bike involved too.
Okay, I can do that.
You need some good biking involved.
Dude,
But,
seriously, I mean, we'll talk about the planning here in a second, but
Mhm.
I have something in mind, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I'm sure we can collaborate too.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Okay, sweet. Oh, that's exciting. Because as far as we've only gone through step number 1. Number 2 is
It doesn't
they don't
matter.
come within a plan. People fail their New Year's resolutions because they
Yeah.
don't come with a plan. And so I've planned this out in my head. I've planned out pretty much my full year, and I don't mind adjusting that. And obviously, I have the education and certifications in order to do that. But what I wanted to do with this step is just kind of teach people how to build an tentative plan to follow
Sure.
for the year, and just sit down and write down your goals. Your plan based on your goals for the year. Yeah.
What you said just then, write them down.
Yes. Write them down.
That's
Absolutely.
powerful. People don't do that enough. You know, like
Yeah.
in my and you don't have to on physical paper. It helps, but in my notes in my phone,
Right.
I have my actual goals written out for the next 5 years, the next 3 years, and
That's
the
awesome.
upcoming
Yeah.
years.
Wow.
That's great.
Okay.
So like it is life changing. I recommend doing it.
Yeah.
5 years, 3 years.
I like to write them down and then like put them in my car like on my speedometer where I can see it, or put
Yeah.
them on a bathroom mirror or something like that, or on your fridge. Just something that when you walk by and open that fridge, you're reminded of your goals. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a group that I work with. We keep each other accountable to a big extent, and we're all looking at the new year and looking to challenge each other. And we've set out just a basic set of numbers. Obviously, mine included PRs because those are things that I want to try and achieve. Nobody else's has. They've just kind of labeled where they've been at as far as their maxes. And then everyone else's goals and mine for weight, we've lined out as follows: current weight, goal weight, milestone weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Current weight where we're at, goal weight of where we want to end up, milestone of being the first step we're going to shoot for.
Gotcha.
So for me, like I said, I'm doing that 10-pound increments. So current weight, milestone is going to be 10 pounds from where I'm at.
Yeah.
And then goal weight being the big cut.
I like it. So when you come to planning out a year, there's a strength and conditioning term called periodization. And it's basically where you break down your training into blocks of different types of phases. So you've all been through it through my programs. You've been periodized through different types of training blocks. And that's to me the best way that you can approach a full year of training. If you come in and expect to do the same program for the full year, you are not going to progress at some point. You will stay stagnant. You'll feel strong and you'll be healthy if that's all you do, but you're not going to progress as much as you'd like.
Yeah.
So periodize it in different what's called microcycles, mesocycles, and macrocycles. And so a mesocycle is like a 4 to 6 week training block, and have a goal of either strength, hypertrophy, endurance, stuff like that. And then you build out different mesocycles into your macro cycle, which is your 6 months to a year of training plan. So sit down, plan it out, look at what your goals are, time it up like what I'm doing, where I've timed it to where I'm going to hit a hypertrophy program, which tends to burn more calories within your specific workout, tends to put on more muscle, which is going to help increase our metabolism even more. And doing that at the same time, I'm going to be cutting, which is another thing you need to plan within your year, is mini bulks and mini cuts.
These things work too. I showed a picture to you that was a picture of myself.
That was crazy.
That was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And Joe, your first question to me was, "Where are your arms?"
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, "They're sitting right there."
You had little T-Rex arms, man.
Yeah,
They
it's
were
crazy.
They were so small. It was crazy.
But see, and I think back to that, and I've only been really at this hard for like a couple of years.
3 years, right?
Yeah. And so you can make a huge difference in, just the way that you look,
Right.
clearly in just a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And so the things that you're talking about, you didn't even tell us that we were going through them, but you put them into our programs and
Right.
work them in.
Right.
Sneaky.
Sneaky.
Underestimated the sneakiness. But yeah, I'm grateful for that because they do work. And Tyson, they work because
Yeah.
you put them into your fighters'
Certainly.
camps and routines and all the things
Right.
that you coach and teach as well.
Oh, it's so funny. During the fight camps, it's because as you guys, they all have the same reaction you guys do. For instance, Sky Ritchie, he just fought at 185.
Yeah.
He walks around at 215, 220.
Yeah.
And here we are
Yeah, that's wild.
3 weeks before his fight, and he's just like, are we going to make it? Like, he starts to have this little anxiety attack about it. I was like, just trust the system.
Yeah.
Just trust the science.
Yeah.
Trust the plan. We'll get there. And
Yeah.
then, and even on the weigh-in day, he's like, that scale's not going to say 185. I said, we'll see. Stepped on there, 184.4.
Yeah, that's wild.
See, I have yet to get my brain around that because I'm not a fighter and,
Yeah.
I don't have any aspirations to be a fighter. But if I were going to make weight, I would have to cut I walk around at like 265, 270.
Right.
I mean, literally, that's
Yeah.
what I'm at.
Yeah.
And so probably more than that at this point. But you're telling me I'm going to cut down to into the 220s?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah,
even
no,
seem
it blows my
possible.
mind.
But
Yeah.
you know, first of all, and this was the whole plan with him too, and I would say this with most people, it's about changing your body composition first.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, we need to make sure that you have more muscle mass than you do adipose tissue or fat.
Right.
You know, and then once that change has occurred, the water cut comes easy.
Yeah.
Your muscles are full of water, but your fat is dry. So
Right.
the first part of the whole thing is getting that body composition to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be a goal of mine. Change my body composition.
Well, rather than worry about your weight, that's what I recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
We've talked about not
Absolutely.
worrying about with the scale at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And start measuring yourself in other ways.
There you
Right.
go.
Yep, that's
a
right.
good way to say that. Okay, so into the program, we've talked about this a couple of times maybe, but you said scheduled deloads. What in the
Yeah.
world? Is that like rest or is that
You can approach a deload in different ways. Some people approach deloads as literally taking a full week off, and this is for pretty advanced people who've been at it pretty hard for, years, or that are well advanced. If you're just kind of a weekender type person, you probably don't need a deload in your program. But if you make this plan and you stick with it, your body will tell you when you need a deload.
That's a good
Okay,
point.
So you can either take the full week off, or you can cut your weight that you're using in your same program by 50% and just follow through with it.
Active
Uh,
recovery.
Just active recovery. Yeah, take a couple days off. Do that for your body so that you still stay active. You don't just sit on the couch the whole time.
Yeah. Go for a walk, foam roll,
Right.
you know.
Mobility. Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Cool. That would be
Yeah.
a good goal for me too, is increase mobility.
That would be a good goal for you.
Yeah. In hips, knees, joint,
That'd be good. Yeah.
ankles,
Yeah.
all of that I need.
Yeah, you're pretty tight.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
One
One goal for myself and myself is to prioritize recovery a little bit more. I'm the worst at it, man. Next thing I know, I've gone 6 days a week to the gym, training others, training myself, and it's like, when was the last time I got in the sauna?
Do you have a cold plunge at your gym?
Not yet.
Will
It's
you get
coming.
one?
It's coming.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
It's coming.
'Cause I wanna use it.
A sauna and a cold plunge is coming.
Sweet.
It's on the. It's
Oh,
on.
no.
It's on the horizon, boys.
Awesome. I can't wait to use that for free.
Wow.
Wow.
What we were talking about, support. You know,
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm saying.
If you remember, I think earlier in this episode,
Uh,
Joe's lack of support.
lack of support.
Just
So,
wait,
man.
your day is coming.
Yeah.
That's exciting stuff. Okay, so deloads and periodization. Did I say that correctly?
Yep, you did.
All right, so that's part of your planning for 2023,
Yep.
and I'm looking forward to that. And so, what else? What else for today? I have a thought, and this is the first time.
First time you've had a thought?
Yeah, first time. Probably so. And just-
Congratulations.
smoke's probably coming out of my ears. As a pastor, I have this is the first time I've ever done this, and so I'm excited to try it. I have written down at least a rough sketch of a whole year of sermon planning.
Oh wow,
Yeah, that's good.
And so I know lots of pastors do this, and I've never tried it. I usually try to stay ahead, at least a series or two ahead.
Right.
As you preach through series and stuff, and that's multiple weeks of dealing with the same subject.
Mm-hmm.
And but this year I'm going to try. And Tyson, you said something about kind of, I don't know, figuring out where you want to go and figuring out what your goals, how to match your goals to where you want to go.
Sure.
And that's kind of what I've done, because there are basic principles or pillars of the church that are lined out in Scripture, and we're going to touch on each one of those as we go throughout the year.
Right.
And so we'll make it through a whole cycle of this is what the church should be about. And there's lots of different ways you can approach it, and I have room in there for, like, if Tyson jumps in and says, I'm going to plan your program, that would, to me, in essence, would be like, the Holy Spirit intervening and going, this is something that's really pressing or
Right.
coming up that you need to talk about,
Right.
and you can deviate from your plan.
Sure.
Right.
And so there's room for him in that.
Of course.
And so I don't know, I'm excited about that from a personal standpoint.
That'll be good.
That's not has
Absolutely.
nothing to do with fitness, but I think as far as emotional health, and planning ahead for that. How critical is it that people plan ahead in their work schedule to help with their, their weight loss journey?
It's so important. And if the person that comes in and they're like, all right, I'm ready to lose weight, I'm going to come do it. And they step in the gym and they're like, oh crap, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I had something in my head and I lost it. Anyways, if you don't have a plan and you need help with a plan, you know where to find us. I build plans for everyone all the time, all day, every day. And so does Tyson. And that's part of some exciting stuff that we're going to be offering in the new year. Some more ways for you to have plans to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah.
Does your work actually help or hurt your progression as your training, like
Sure.
your weight loss or your hitting your goals in the gym?
Well, one thing, I was just on myself about recovery.
Yeah.
Being a therapist,
Yeah.
I do get to utilize the ultrasound machines
Yeah, that's nice.
and the ice packs and the hot packs and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So there are times where that definitely helps me, reach my goals, especially when I'm beat up. But the other thing about my job, where it's helped me so much, is the knowledge base that's come with being a therapist with anatomy and physiology and all this stuff. It's definitely made that part of it easier. When in fact, I was teaching jiu-jitsu the other day and we were talking about arm bars. And I was explaining exactly what was broken. Whenever your ulna and your radial break, and Calvin's just like, I've learned a lot of anatomy in jiu-jitsu from you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, talking about tearing the rotator cuff in a Kimura key lock and whatnot. So
sounds painful.
there's a lot where overlap in my job, and I love the duality of it.
For sure.
Yeah. And so for the people that are not therapists and do not have that knowledge base, and they're going to work doing the 9 to 5 or the 8 to 5 or the 8 to 10 or whatever it is,
Sure.
Whatever the hours are, that coming in with the motivation to mix those two things together, because it would be easy for somebody to go, I'm going to give up work, I'm going to give up this, I'm going to give up that, and just go to the gym.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how to balance those two things.
Well, what ends up happening is the opposite of that, because work's the priority. You have to feed your family. You got
Right.
to put food on the table, right? And by the time you get off work, you're done.
Right.
You're so fried from the day, especially if you have a manual labor job.
Right.
So I like to use my work schedule as the base to build the rest of my schedule, right? So it becomes I know for a fact 8 hours a day, this is where I'm going to be. How do I make sure that I still make it to the gym after that or before that? What comes after that? How's my classes going to roll off of that? And then what am I teaching there too?
Yeah.
So I've learned for myself, scheduling, having a good solid schedule keeps me disciplined, and that just works better for me.
Sure.
Dustin, you're probably experiencing this with a change in your job, and you're having. Yeah. So how's it going for you?
It's been a learning curve.
Yeah.
That's what it's been.
Mm-hmm.
For me, consistently schedule-wise, wake up by 6 a.m., and I am ready, breakfast done, out the door so that I can begin my workday by 7. And then usually I wrap things up and I'm able to leave and fill in the blank, do with whatever I need to do with the rest of my day by about 4 p.m. And so for me, that consistency has come in. I prepare my gym bag the night before. When I leave the house in the morning, it gets put in my car. When I leave work, straight to the gym.
Yeah, you eliminate your excuses.
Sure that I don't have but my shoes are at home. Oh, but my gym bag. And so I take away any of the excuses that I could have, and I prioritize getting that workout time in.
Yeah.
And I almost treat it as if it is a part of my work day.
Sure.
Like my day is not done. I don't get to retire, kick off the shoes and lean back until this is done.
Cool.
This has to fit.
Yeah.
It's not a optional puzzle piece. it's mandatory.
That's
Yeah.
why, like this morning, I had my swim trunks on when I got in the truck because I knew if I got to the gym and I was still like dressed in warm sweats or something, it wasn't happening.
That's
So
funny.
yeah,
I have to be the world's luckiest man in this because like I always try to get it done first thing in the morning, and so of course I live an hour away from work, so I try to get it done at my hometown. The gym's half a mile down from my road, from my house, half mile down the road from my house, and but I have flexibility if Presley was up late that night, she woke up at 5 a.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever, I can snooze my alarm and say, okay, I'll just get it done on my lunch break at the gym that I work at. And so I have this awesome flexibility. And then if my day gets busy, oh my gosh, I scheduled another client. I don't have time to work out during my lunch break. Now what I'll do is I'll just go at night at my home gym in Wichita Falls once Presley goes to sleep, and then I'm able to get it in. So I have like 3 time slots that I have available for me most of the time, and I just kind of let it fit. I kind of have I'd rather do it in the morning. If I can't, I'll push it. If I can't do that, I'll keep pushing it, but I'll get it done regardless.
that's why you get so strong.
See,
You
I'm
think I would be a lot stronger having all that availability.
I'm the opposite with my schedule. Like, I'm very structured. I know this is the time it's going to happen. These are the days it's going to happen. And, like, I'll sit out at the beginning of the week. I'll know on a Monday
Right.
that my typical routine is going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and then I'm going to work out on Sunday.
Gotcha.
And for me, that is Tuesday immediately after work, because I know Wednesday after work I'll go straight to church. Thursday immediately after work. Friday there's occasionally things that I have going on that I'll have to deal with, and so I won't have a chance Friday, and so I work around that. And then Saturday and Sunday are days that are open to me, so I can either go on a Saturday, or here lately what I've been doing is same thing: prep the gym bag, have it in the car, take it with me when I go to church on Sunday morning,
Oh, yeah.
and I'll go to the gym straight from church.
Sunday
and
afternoon
work out.
workouts hit different. I
And
love 'em.
honestly, it's been great for me, because before the typical routine was go to church on Sunday, we'll get out, sit around, talk with people. All right, where are we all going to go eat lunch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our scheduling became placed around when we're eating,
Uh-huh.
which I think is a really terrible habit, to plan everything around food.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's been a little bit of a mental reset in
That's
a way
good.
to say, no, I've got my gym bag. I know what I'm doing. Church ends, in the car, go to the gym,
Yeah.
That's
Well, I think-
work out, worry about lunch later.
I think
Yeah.
that's the main thing as far as staying motivated is to eliminate all the excuses
Yeah.
that you could possibly
Yeah.
tell
Right.
yourself to not have.
Yeah.
You know, I can't go because of whatever. Which
Right.
you know, Adam, you're really good. You have a good routine where you're there pretty much, in the mornings at the same time every week.
Yeah, I try. It gets hijacked occasionally,
Sure.
but
Things happen.
most
Yeah.
of the time
Sure.
I'm there, and I'm grateful that I'm able to do that. Like you, Joe, and Tyson, you guys, there's some flexibility in my schedule as
Mhm.
well,
Yeah.
and so I try to take full advantage of that.
Now, would you say that your motivation fluctuate? Like every time I have a week off or something else happen, like I've got something that interrupts my schedule. It's a fight to get back on schedule for me.
Really.
It's gotten easier. It used
Yeah.
to be a little more of a fight, but I
Mhm.
realize the benefits outweigh the
Right.
the fight of
Right.
not doing it.
Yeah.
And so it's gotten better, but I do have to find motivation. Like, to be honest, as I swam today, I hit the 3/4 mile mark, and I didn't quite get out of the water enough, and I got a
Uh-huh.
nice big gulp of
Mm.
something that's not designed for your lungs.
Good.
And
Chlorine.
I did that.
And so the burn kicked in. I was like, gosh, everything hurts now. And I still got a 1/4 mile to go.
Gosh,
And I
yeah.
realized I'm going to be out of pocket, Monday
Yeah.
of next week and probably Tuesday. And so
Right.
I went ahead and finished because I was like, I may not get back to the gym till Wednesday
Yeah.
of next week.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Well, that keeps you're accountable to yourself, which is into our next point,
Right.
And
Sure.
I think not so much the gym. I love going to the gym, so my routine normally stays that. It's with my supplements. It's with my diet. It's with that. Next thing you know, I'm not drinking my greens or my vitamins for the day, or my fish
Yeah.
oils, or the things that I take. That's what I normally kind of get put off of. So
Yeah. Well, so here's kind of as we sum all this up for the day. I was looking at a passage of scripture out of Proverbs 21. It says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit." And I think that's a pretty good way to look at planning for 2023. Be diligent in your planning. Be diligent in your goal
Yeah.
setting. One of the last things that are on our list that I do not do is track my progress. Even though we have apps and we have all this stuff that I can use to track it, I typically go in and I'm like,
Yeah.
that feels like enough for me today, you know?
Yeah.
And I probably should do that more often. It would probably be helpful for me hitting some more goals.
Right.
Absolutely. And you know, I think you get a good laugh out of this. I recently downloaded one of these apps that I did use back when I first started, but I very quickly stopped using, and so I ended up deleting it. And so I logged back in, right, and went and was like, you know, I'll just update the information that's stored on here. Go and check it. The weight was still set to like 285.
Oh, nice.
Guys, I haven't been that in like 2 years.
Right.
That's cool.
Like, I went, you know, this was probably a pretty helpful tool if I'd use it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was kind of one of those funny haha moments, and it felt good. And because back then, I remember why I deleted it, because I was losing weight, and I hit that 285 mark
Yeah.
fairly easily.
Right.
But then the number didn't continue to drop the way that it had, and I lost the motivation because I was being motivated by the wrong things.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That's it. One of the hugest, is that a word? One of the biggest
now.
things. Yeah, it is now.
Largest.
The biggest factor in how well I've done this year is the amount of social support that I've had around me and accountability of just being with you guys and my wife encouraging me and everything. It sounds silly, but having an Instagram now where I'm posting my progress is a layer of accountability, and it has been huge. So if
Yeah.
you were trying to go into this New Year's without that circle of support, find it, please. If
Glad
not,
we can be of
let
support.
us help you. Let us help you be that part of support. We have that Facebook group. It's not super active, but it's there, and I would love for it to get more active.
Sure.
So if you hear this, please help us and engage with us on there. Yeah, but find that group of people, please. Yeah.
Mhm.
We all need
Yeah.
it. Glad we can be that for you, Joe.
Thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm sure it's been reciprocated. Maybe.
Sure.
Have y'all ever started the new year by trying to read through the Bible in a year?
I have.
Yeah. Did you succeed?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You were one of the
Done
few.
it. I've done it once.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's been other times where I've gone back to do it, and
Yeah, I
You know.
typically burn out at some point during the year.
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think that's another thing that would work really well if you had a group of people you're doing it with.
Right.
Yeah.
It certainly makes it easier
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Let's
a
do
good.
it.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
doing
So-
it in community.
That's right. Well, I know we rambled a lot there, but I think that was good. Hopefully y'all got something from it. Not y'all, but the people that are listening.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
we always get.
We too, but
So
man.
go ahead and make a goal for 2023.
Yes.
Don't call it a resolution. Just make a goal and make it smart, and see how it goes.
And if you want, you can start today. You don't have to wait for another week or two.
no, let's
That's
reach
true.
those goals together.
Yeah.
Starting now.
Yeah.
I do like it that it's January after the holidays because everybody knows they all had a piece of pie. They all, it's a
Right.
good reset.
Yeah,
It really
pie.
is. I just hate on it because it's blown out of proportion.
Yeah, for sure. And
And everybody
yeah.
fails 2 weeks in. you
Yeah.
know,
I know.
and which is disheartening.
Yes.
Tyson's gonna have his green. What is it called? The
Oh, the green stuff, pink
marshmallows,
stuff,
pink stuff.
Oh, it's pink. Yeah,
Pink
yeah,
stuff, okay.
Fluff,
Yeah.
whatever.
the
Oh.
cottage cheese ice cream.
Ice cream?
Holiday food.
Hey.
No,
You
it's
know?
it's cottage cheese, Jello, and whipped cream, and it's got like 25 grams of protein in it.
I'm
in
I'm
one
gonna
serving.
stare at the piece of pie that will be at family dinner, knowing I'm not gonna eat it because I don't like pie. But
What?
I'm gonna keep my goals in mind.
Mm.
Yeah. You don't like pie?
No,
What?
pie is gross.
What kind of dessert do you like?
Anything but.
Oh,
Come
okay.
on.
You clearly haven't had the right kind of pie.
That's for sure.
He's like
anything-
pizza.
Pizza pie.
Pizza pie.
That is a pie.
Eat the
Yeah.
pizza pie. Yeah.
That is a pie. That's perfect.
No, really.
All
I
right.
just can't stand pie.
Well, enjoy
Probably
the
can't
end of
stand you.
2022,
Mhm.
whenever you hear this, and good luck with 2023. We are here to help you
Yep.
in any possible way that we can. And don't forget to check us out on all of our social media platforms and all of the ways that you can help support us. Check out the Patreon page
Yes.
and go check that out.
That should be your New Year's goal, is to support us on Patreon.
There you go.
$5 a month, minimum.
That's right.
Yeah.
$1 million a month maximum.
1 million.
So that $60 that you would spend typically on coffee that's sugary and stuff a year, go spend it on Patreon for us. That'd be
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
That would help us so much.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to more support, and thank you for your faithful support and your listening ears, and watching eyes. You guys are
Yes.
looking good on YouTube, and look.
I'm looking at the camera right now, and it looks like 3 floating heads just
Yeah.
because we're all wearing dark jackets.
We really should work that out next time.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I could green screen y'all in some.
Well, it doesn't, you always wear black. That's the thing.
It's slimming.
Okay.
Come on, that's perfect.
Gross.
Well, guys, have a wonderful new year, and we look forward to all of the things that are ahead for 2023.
That's
and
right.
We will see you next time.
Bye-bye. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Progressive Overload podcast. We're honored to be a small part of your day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or are interested in sponsoring our efforts, please feel free to reach out via email. Find us at progressiveoverloadpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe and follow our podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.
And as always, you can help us reach the masses by sharing our podcast with your friends and family. And then check us out on Facebook and Instagram to follow our own personal journeys and get an inside look on our day-to-day lives. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.